unfortunately, and become very loose regarding with the aura in front of other people. So that's the main highlighting point from the hadith. That's the main what? highlighting point from the hadith. Everybody understand this? خير إن شاء الله. الشيخ نوح في الحديث في إشكال. في إشكال. هنا قالت فسلمت عليه. من القائل؟ هم هانئ. هي قالت فسلمت عليه، لم تقل هي فسلمت فاستأذنت. فسلمت على مين؟ هو عليه الصلاة والسلام. ما كان جوابه؟ من هذه؟ أخبر قال مرحبا بأم هانئ. فالإشكال كيف، هل كلمة مرحبا يعني يستبدل بها السلام ورد السلام؟ هل تقوم كلمة مرحبا مقام وعليك السلام؟ فهمت الإشكال؟ هي صرحت بأنها إيش؟ وهو رد بإيش؟ فهل يجوز هذا؟ إذا سلمت عليك أنت تقول مرحبا، جاهز أم لا؟ يجوز أم لا يجوز؟ طبعا بناء على هذا الحديث. تفضل. طيب هي سلمت قالت فوجدته يغتسل. طيب يعني كلمة ذكر اسم الله أنت عريان، سؤال بلمس، ها السؤال بالبارح ولا لا؟ خير إن شاء الله. نرجع عندك أنا إيش كان ها طيب نعود فيها ومرحبا. طيب فهمت الإشكال؟ تفضل. ما هو الجواب؟
حديث أبي هريرة إذا سلم على النبي
طيب
ولا سلم عليه
لم يرد عليه السلام. طيب قال
لا أدري ما قال، لو أعلم أنه يغتسل ثم رد السلام عليه.
طيب ممكن، بس لم أقتنع بكلامك. I'm not convinced. طيب خير إن شاء الله. Moving forward. طيب when was the year of Fath, the conquest of Mecca, Sharif? Khalid. 10th year. 8th or 10th? 9th. طيب from the 8th to the 10th year. طيب can't go wrong with that, huh John? خير إن شاء الله. Al-Muhim, there are many fawaid in this hadith. The first fawaid in this hadith is the concept of what we call al-aman, which is a separate study in the chapters of fiqh that we don't have the time to get into right now. The aman, when the Muslims are at war with non-Muslims and someone grants and pledges peace, ceasefire, whether it's the imam, the leader, the khalifa, the sultan, it's now a ceasefire. No more fighting, the war is done. We write a pact, a treaty. Or whether it's a general, a colonel, or one specific soldier, or one person from the Muslims who grants someone, a group of kuffar, peace. That these people, if you lay down your arms, you will not be harmed. You will not be hurt. Whether it's one person, 3 people, 10 people. There are details on who and cannot give aman. Is it only the imam that can give aman? Or can someone who's beneath the leader of the Muslims give this aman? To declare non-Muslim or who are combatants, to say that you're now in a safe zone. You will not be fought. Anyone who attacks you, it's up to me to defend you. Everybody understand this? This hadith, Hanit clearly says that I gave someone aman. And this other man, he said that he would fight him and he would kill him. The Messenger of Allah says, we give aman to whom you give aman to. We will protect ajarna. We will make ijara to those whom you've given it to. Everybody understand? And that's a separate study of what? Fiqh. Does it have to be a man? Can it be a woman? Can it be a slave? Does it have to be the general? That's a separate study of fiqh in the chapters of jihad. Everybody understand this? Another fa'idah from this hadith, is the concept of Mecca. Was the conquest of Mecca through peaceful means, or was there actual violence? Was there fighting? Did the Prophet ﷺ and the Sahaba conquer Mecca through violence, or was it done peacefully? Everybody understand this? Some of the ulama say it was peace. It was never no fighting. And others clearly say that there was fighting. Whereas Hani clearly said, I have given Aman. Protection is only through what? Alright, clear on this? That's another major faida of the hadith, which is a separate study as well. Another faida is the concept of covering the awrah. The concept of covering the awrah. Not looking at someone's awrah that you're not supposed to look at. Shyness in the religion. Another faida from this hadith is the concept of salat al-duha. And it being made with 8 raka'at. Not 2, not 4, not 6, 8. Everybody understand this? Also in this hadith is the precept of Islamic hygiene. Being clean. Not being dirty. Being clean spiritually, inwardly, and also outwardly. The Prophet was washing. Everybody understand this? He was washing up. Everybody clear on this? Also in this hadith is the permissibility to go to the leader of the Muslims and to complain. To complain. It is not haram. You can't say it's disliked. It's permissible to complain about someone, your wife, your husband, your brother, the imam of the masjid, someone that you feel is doing something that's wrong. It is permissible to go to a higher authority and to seek justice. Everybody clear on this? She went to the Prophet. The Prophet didn't ask her why, kayf, how, who. He said what? Whoever you say is okay, we will say is okay. Everybody understand this? So this is another concept in this hadith. It's the permissibility of what? Complaining. And also, it is the permissibility and the recommendation for the imam to be wise, for the imam to be smooth, and to make peace, and to reconcile. He didn't ask no details. He automatically said, don't worry about it. I got it. Everybody understand this? A true leader will say, don't worry about it. But Sheikh, don't worry about it. Khalas. But Mufti, he said, khalas, I'll talk to him myself. Don't worry about it. It'll be done. How much does he owe you? He stole $300 for you, so on and so forth. Oh, when can I get my money back from Yusuf? Oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, no problem. Just give me your information to your bank account. The money will be put there. But don't worry about it. Class. $300 will be returned to you. Is Yusuf going to pay it back? Am I going to do it? I'm going to take the money from the masjid. Don't what? Don't worry about it. Solve the problem. Smooth everything. Stifle out the problems. And not like how some imams or how some leaders make things even more complicated and more difficult. What's the purpose of me going to you if you can't help me out? Everybody understand this? Handling the problems of the people, serving the people is one of the most important jobs of a leader, is to serve. Everybody understand this? To serve. And you yourself don't have the time to get into every petty, trifling, nitpicking fight between fulan and fulana. And sometimes a wise leader is someone who just does what? He handles it and he takes care of it. Khalas, finished, done. Next. Everybody understand this? And this not only is a means of bringing the Muslims together, but it's also a means of the people trusting you more in the future. That was easy. That was simple. He didn't judge. He didn't ask. He didn't dig for personal details. He solved the problem. Everybody clear on this? Another faida from this hadith is that you should make salah until you're clean. It is recommended to enter upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with regards to salah, dua, standing in front of Him in a clean state. The Prophet was the most clean, but he's also a teacher to the people. He made the ghusl, then he made the raka'at. Everybody understand this? Also, one may take from this hadith the permissibility of making salatul duha on a journey, on a trip. That's a whole nother separate issue of fiqh. Is it permissible, or is it from the sunnah to make nawafil and to make the tatawwa while traveling? As it's mentioned in the hadith, that they never saw the Prophet making tasbih. They never saw him making what? Tasbih. Not with the hands, but actual extra salah on a journey. Alright, but I understand this. And what does the other narration say? لو كنت مسبحا لأتممت. Narrated in the statement of Aisha. If I was going to make the salah complete, I would make tasbih. So that's the issue of khilaf in itself. When you're on a trip, Is it from the sunnah, you're traveling, you're not at home, is it from the sunnah to make the extra prayers? Or should you just make the 5 daily prayers, the 2 rak'ah for Salat al-Fajr and witr, that's it? Or is it from the sunnah to make the extra voluntary prayers as well? That's the issue of fiqh as well. And one can take from this hadith, the Prophet clearly made what? 8 rak'at. Where was he? Was he in Mecca or was he in Medina? It says the year of conquest of Mecca, and doesn't necessarily say what?
Where he was.
So what do you think? Right. Another concept with this hadith is, she says here, Za'am ibn Ummi, the son of my mother claims that he would do such and such a thing. He said, Fulan ibn Hubayra. She did not mention his name, even though she mentioned who he was. Whether it was tahqir al-nisha'nihi, scorning him, disdaining him, or whether it was she didn't want to mention his name, ghiba, what's important is that she didn't what? She didn't mention his name. If it was unnecessary to mention his name, then what's the point of what? Mentioning his name. Here in this hadith, this woman did not mention his what? She said fulan. She said so and so. Everybody clear on this? And that's an issue in itself. And the obsession with many people with regards to mentioning the name. Not it being permissible, not it being necessary, but no, obsession. People that are obsessed with names. We have to mention the name every single time. We have to say the person's name every single time. You have no honor whatsoever. There's no ghiba for you. Period. We can talk about you, mention your name whenever you want, however you want. Everybody understand this? And the proof for it is, the reason why it's not ghiba, is that the Salaf al-Salih, they made ghiba of Ahlul Bid'ah. Or in the sciences of Hadith, the science of Jarh wa Ta'dil, they criticize the narrators. Fulan kadhab, fulanun da'if, fulanun dajjal, fulanun wada', fulanun is this, tayyib. But you just said that the person that you're talking about is not a mubtadi'. You said that he's not mubtadi'. You don't say he's a mubtadi'. So why are you dealing with him like? There's contradiction now. That's what? It's contradiction. Everybody understand this? You said, not me, I may call him mubtadi'. Maybe he is, but you said that he what? He's not. We don't say that they're innovators, but we still deal with them like they're innovators. So what's the point of saying that then? Just be a man. Stop being a coward. And say on tape, on the record, Fulan is a mubtadi'. That's it. Say that. Have some manhood. And don't run around the ruling. Sahib bid'ah, ahl bid'ah, he's ma'al mubtadi'ah, he gives lectures. Just say it, that you believe in your heart that Fulan is a what? Innovator. But you don't have the courage to say it. But you have the courage to deal with him like an innovator. That's total what? Triple standard. That's not double standard, that's what? Triple standard. Everybody understand this? So the concept of being obsessed with people's names. She did not mention his what? Not say that it's haram with the necessity, but how people are just what? Obsessed. They have to mention somebody's name over and over and over and over again. Khairan, inshallah. Another faida from this hadith, or an issue of this hadith, is that Hani clearly said, فَسَلَّمْتُ عَلَيْهِ. She said, I gave him the salam. And the Prophet ﷺ did not, in this narration, it is not recorded that he returned the salam. Rather, in this hadith, it is recorded that he said what? Man hadihi. Who is this? What does the narration then say? She said, I'm. What did the Prophet ﷺ then say? Marhaban bi ummi hani. Welcome. He did not return the salams. So therefore, some of the people of knowledge, they consider this to be mushkil, problematic. How could the Prophet ﷺ not give her back the salams? Some of the ulama, they say that Hani didn't give the Prophet ﷺ the salams herself. She gave the salams to Fatima. But this narration, the wording we have here clearly states that what? Alayhi. So that's rejected. Other ulama, they say the answer to this, al-jawab ala hadha al-ishkal, and huwarat, kharaja sahihain, marhaban wa alayki salam. Is that he said marhaba, and he also said wa alayki salam. Outside of Sahih Bukhari and outside of Sahih Muslim. And we know that they're different. Alfaz, riwayat. Al-bab in lam tajma' turuqa, lam yatabayyan khata'uhu. لابد تجمع الألفاظ والروايات بالحديث الواحد حتى تخرج بنتيجة علمية واضحة. طيب. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is what some people say, which is not necessarily the strongest. Just because it's not mentioned here that he said wa alayhi salam does not mean that he didn't say it. Just because it's not mentioned doesn't mean that he what? Didn't say it. But that's not that strong. Because in most cases, if he did say it, then they would have reported it. They would have reported it. Khairan, inshallah. Let's move on to the next chapter.
Check real quick.
Fadl.
What about your daughter screening you? Does that have any significance?
Daughter screening him. Obviously, it's a virtue of Fatima, radiallahu anha, that she was trusted and respected. And she screened him. Does not mean that she looked at his aura or anything like this. But she just held up the what?
Screen.
Well, I trust you. We're out camping once again. Tayyib, I say, Sharif, cover me. I need to take a shower. It's a reality. I say what? Cover me. Spread the canvas. Cover me. In other words, if you wanted to, you could just what?
Come on, man.
No. Don't miss. I said live stream. Allah Stein, live stream. Allah knows just what's in your heart. What's important is that not you looking at me. No. I'm not saying that. You missing your mind is somewhere in the gutter along this time. Not you looking at my aura, but you exposing me in front of everybody. Understand? Here's Mufti Muhammad Ibn Munir. Live stream. You guys like that, huh? La ilaha illallah. So you show me, you expose me, which is extremely embarrassing, whether they see it or not. What are you doing, Sharif? Astaghfirullah. Oops. So if I'm naked, okay, then if you get even deeper than this now, just the concept of if we're out on a battle, military expedition, my weapon, I don't have my weapon, I can't wash up what you made depending on a weapon. But in general, let's say my weapon is down where my clothes are. I'm trusting you. I'm naked, my weapon is down. And I trust you to cover my aura, to watch me, to look out for me, and not to do anything. You can kill me, no one knows anything. So this shows respect and trust with the person that's covering. Everybody clear on this? Nothing else. You're looking on live stream. La ilaha illallah. Allahul musta'an. So everybody finished? Got this Adam? Khair inshallah. So perhaps that's the significance, a virtue of what? Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha. Khair inshallah. Moving forward. The author rahimahullah, he says, Babu jawaz al-ightisali uryanan fil khalwa. Chapter 18, to take bath naked in complete privacy is allowed. He says, he clearly gives his view. It's permissible to wash up, to take a bath, to make a shower if you're totally naked, as long as you're alone. As long as you're what? Alone. And he didn't mention here in front of one's wife or in front of one's husband. This chapter says khalwa, alone. So it could be understood that it's specific to being by yourself, and not even your wife or husband can look at the aura, or it could mean the concept of being alone from people that are away from your intimate circle. And what's meant by alone is in the house with your wife. Mathalan. Everybody understand this? Mathalan. In other words, many brothers, when they accept Islam, and this is a specific story I know of a brother, he was a Christian, he accepted Islam, and he was taught that he has to, when you take a shower, you have to wear nizar. You cannot take a shower naked. You have to wear nizar in the shower. So he would always have a nizar in his house. He just became Muslim, and his mother would complain. Every time I go in the bathroom, the floor is wet. You have your thing is dripping all over on the floor. Why is this? Why are you making a mess in my bathroom? So there was just another hardship that he had to go through, not only leaving Christianity, coming to Islam, not eating pork, not going to church, not celebrating birthdays, and now it's dripping izard in the bathroom, dripping wet, pouring water on the floor everywhere, because he has to take a shower with the what, Yusuf? With an izard. Everybody understand this? That's impermissible to take a shower in your birthday suit. Everybody understand this? The Prophet ﷺ said, "Man yuridillahu bihi khayran, yufaqihu fi din." Don't be scared. Say it. Yufaqihu fi din. He gives them what? Fiqh of the deen. And one small fiqh, simple principle, can save you a world of drama with your non-Muslim parents. Wallahi. One fa'idah that you know about can save you from an argument with your non-Muslim parents or your non-religious Muslim parents. One thing that you know to avoid, a sidestep, can avoid clash. Everybody got this? Fiqh is powerful. even in da'wah. Alright, about killing this? Khairin inshallah. Moving forward. So it says here the permissibility of taking a shower uryan, naked, as long as one is alone. Hadith number 194. The author he says, Hadith Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أنه قال كانت بنو إسرائيل يغتسلون عراة ينظر بعضهم إلى بعض وكان موسى يغتسل وحده فقال والله ما يمنع موسى أن يغتسل معنا إلا أنه آدر فذهب مرة يغتسل فوضع ثوبه على حجر ففر الحجر بثوبه فخرج موسى في إثره يقول ثوبي يا حجر حتى نظرت بنو إسرائيل إلى موسى فقال والله ما بموسى من بأس وأخذ ثوبه وطفق بالحجر ضربا فقال أبو هريرة والله إنه لندب بالحجر 6 أو 7 ضربا بالحجر. Narrated Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, the Prophet ﷺ said, the people of Bani Isra'il used to take bath naked, in parentheses, all together, looking at each other. The Prophet Moses alayhi salam used to take bath alone. They said, by Allah, nothing prevents Musa from taking a bath with us except that he has scrotal hernia. Except that he has a scrotal hernia. So, once Musa alayhi salam went out to take a bath and put his clothes over a stone, and that stone ran away with his clothes. Musa alayhi salam followed that stone saying, my clothes, O stone, my clothes, O stone. Till the people of Bani Isra'il saw him and said, by Allah, Musa has got no defect in his body. Musa alayhi salam took his clothes and began to beat the stone. Abu Hurairah narrated, by Allah, there are still 6 or 7 marks present on the stone from the excessive beating. Hadith teaches us, or the highlighting point, the mahal al-shahid is what? Talib?
I don't know.
Taib. What's the highlighting point from the hadith, Nafis? Adam.
Musa alayhi salam was a beast, man.
Musa alayhi salam was a beast. Taib. What's the highlighting point from the hadith, Nahyan? Sean. What's the highlighting point from the hadith? Not the ruling, not what's the mahal al-shahid?
Musa was taking a bath.
Musa washed up what? Naked. Alayhi salatu wasalam. He washed up without what? Clothes. But how does this pertain to the permissibility and impermissibility in our deen, our sharia? Now you got yourself in quicksand now. Quicksand is what? Quicksand. Every moment that you're thinking, you're doing what? Yalla.
Because
Khalid. Fadl Talib.
It's not something new in Islam to take a bath alone.
Sheikh Nuh. السؤال ما محل الشاهد من هذا الحديث؟ موسى قال موسى اغتسل وهو عريان. طيب ما لنا ولفعل موسى عليه السلام؟ ما هذا شريعته وشريعتنا؟ أقره، قص علينا القصة وحكى لنا حكاية لم ينكر. فكأنه يقال فيما حكي لنا وقص علينا من شريعة من قبلنا بدون نكير فيكون هذا إقرار. كأنه يقال هذا. لكن يعني شريعة من قبلنا شرع لنا أم لا؟ شريعة من قبلنا شريعة لنا أم لا؟ مسألة أصولية الآن في باب الأدلة. هذا من أنواع الأدلة المختلف فيها. الكتاب، السنة، الإجماع، الكتاب، السنة، القياس، الكتاب، السنة، عمل أهل المدينة، الاستحسان، المصالح المرسلة، سد الذرائع. هذه يسمى الدليل المختلف فيه. هل سد الذريعة دليل لذاته أم لا؟ هل قول الصحابي دليل أم لا؟ هل عمل أهل المدينة دليل أم لا؟ هل شرع من قبلنا دليل أم؟ عرفت كيف؟ فإذا قلت أنت بأن شرع من قبلنا شرع لنا هذا هو محل الشاهد من الحديث. وإذا أنكرت تقول لا، لكل منكم جعلنا شرعة ومنهاجا. لكل شرعة ومنهاجا. لكل النبي، كل الرسول له منهاج وله شرعة. عرفت كيف؟ فإذا قلت هذا، إذا اختلفت أنت معي أنا في الأصول، فطبعا الحكم الفرعي سنختلف فيها كذلك. وهذا نقطة مهمة جدا لطلبة العلم. الأحناف لهم أصول، المالكي لهم إيش؟ أصول. فقد يكون أحيانا ليس قضية مخالفة الكتاب والسنة، وإنما يكون مسألة اختلاف في الأصول. نختلف أنا وأنت، نختلف في الأصول فضلا عن تطبيق الحكم. هذا غلط. يستعجل بعض الطلبة يقول هذا خالف السنة، خالف الكتاب، ما إنهم دليل. لا 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 لا, لا, لا تستعجل هكذا على العلم. طيب. Hadith says that Musa alayhi salam was washing up and he was naked. Musa alayhi salam was washing up and he was what? Naked. That's what Musa did, not Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam did. So how is that a dalil for us? Unless you hold the view that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam told the story and he did not criticize it, he did not repudiate, he did not clarify it, but he told us the story. And the asl, the default of what the prophets and the messengers are doing is that it's a what? Good thing. Blessing, good thing, until the Prophet says, but you don't wash up naked. But my followers don't wash up naked. But that's not what the Prophet ﷺ said. He told the story as it was. So this ruling is going to be based off of an issue of usul al-fiqh. Something that we always say, tulab al-ilm have to study, have to learn, have to practice, have to memorize, have to perfect. The theory. The previous legislatures, what was permissible in the time of the prophets of the past, what was permissible for Isa, what was permissible for Musa, what was permissible for Ayub, what was haram for them, haram upon Musa, haram upon the Jews to eat this and do this. Is that the same for us or not? Allah says in the Quran Kareem that He made a way for every nation. Every nation has a way, has a sharia. Everybody understand this? ثُمَّ جَعَلْنَاكَ عَلَى شَرِيَةٍ مِّنَ الْأَمْرِ إيش؟ فَاتَّبِعْهَا أَنْتَ شَرِيعَتِكَ أَنْتَ. Follow it. Everybody clear on this? So therefore, some of the ulama say that the legislatures of the previous prophets and messengers, or specifically the messengers, they say they are not rules for what? For us, period. And others, they say they are rules for us as long as nothing in our sharia goes against it. As long as nothing in our deen what? Goes against it. Everybody understand this? So this hadith here is not agreed upon by the ulama with regards to washing up naked. Hadith proves that Musa alayhi salam did it, and the Prophet did not criticize him for that. Everybody understand this? So that's what we call mahallu shahid, the highlighting point from the hadith. Everybody clear this or not? The main point from the hadith. Everybody got this or not? Everybody understand this? So you're studying a book, you're studying a chapter, you're studying a hadith. Before you go to this faida, Musa alayhi salam was strong, you want to focus on what? Mahallu shahid, the main fiqh point from the hadith. Or if you're studying kitab of iman, kitab tawheed, the main point that proves what the author is saying. The permissibility of swearing by other than Allah. The permissibility of slaughtering for other than Allah. The impermissibility for making tawaf, except for the Kaaba. The permissibility of, everybody understand this? You always want to focus on the what? Main point from the hadith first and foremost. Then after you discuss that, you branch off. You stafad, you stumbat, we take from the hadith this, we take from the hadith that, the virtue of Musa, etc. Everybody got this or not? Everybody understand this or not? Clear, Yusuf? Khayr, inshallah. So that's the main highlighting point from the what? From the hadith. As far as the other fawaid, this hadith shows the virtue of Musa alayhi salam, and that a true man is shy. A strong man is shy. And you don't have to be a coward or a weakling or gay or sissy or weak or soft to be shy, as it is promoted in our American culture. You have to be a sissy, a softy to be shy. Everybody understand this? Or even worse than that, if you're merciful, some people, they look at you as weak. It's not weakness, it's strength to be merciful. I can crush you if I wanted to, but I'm going to be merciful. That's virtue. That's what? That's virtue. And then other times in which it is weakness, in which you do have to do what's necessary. Everybody understand this? And we've spoken this before, the issue of shyness in the religion. If shyness comes before you doing what you have to do in the deen, of wajib, of mustahab, then it's not shyness anymore, it's cowardice. Everybody understand this? You're too shy to give the khutbah, but you have to give the khutbah. Now it's not shyness, it's now cowardice now. It's mandatory for you to do it. Everybody understand this? If you're with your wife and you're too shy to be with your wife or to expose yourself in front of your wife or do what you have to do, now that's not good anymore. And that's a deficiency in your manhood. That's a what? Everybody understand this? However, if it's brothers, nah, subhanAllah, back up. What's the matter, Mufti? What you hiding? I'm not hiding nothing. Just, back up. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing what? It doesn't mean you're soft. He said Musa was what? A beast. He was strong. He was powerful. He beat up the rock. He left marks in the rock. Yeah, and still he wanted to what? I'm not washing up with these guys. No. You let them be naked and look at each other. Not me. So it shows the virtue of Musa alayhi salam. And it also shows us that it does not mean that you're soft if you're what? Shy. And no one should be looking at your private area except for your wife. No one should look at your private area. You should not be comfortable being in front of another man naked. A woman should not be comfortable being another sister, another woman naked. That's not okay. That's not from Islam. Everybody understand this? There's no public bathhouse in Islam. You just go into the pool of water and wash up. It's disgusting. Let alone the fact of the whole entire Western culture with regards to sports, with regards to wrestling, the Colosseum, gladiator. That's where this whole entire thing comes from. Fraternities, as you said. The horn, the ram, the goat. He said, what? Stand out from the rest of the herd. Everybody understand this? Alpha, Kappa. These whole fraternities are based off of pagans. Mushrikeen, stone worshippers, fire worshippers, moon worshippers. People worship constellations. And they were also wrestlers and fighters and combatants. And they were also, waliyadhu billah, many of them, I don't know, can't say all of them, many of them were homosexuals. It was a known practice. Let alone people who molested boys. Caesar and this one and that one, this great conqueror and thinker was a boy molester. They slept with boys. They had little boys as their slaves and their servants that they had sex with. They were strong, big, brawny, brolic men, wielding weapons, conquering nations, and at the same time, they enjoyed little boys. Waliyadhu billah. This is where the whole foundation of team and shower and washing up together, this is where it comes from. So there's something to be mindful of. When we start talking about sports and boxing and wrestling, you got to be mindful of this. Not saying it's impermissible for Muslims to learn how to box. Not saying a Muslim can't learn how to wrestle, because we have hadith on that. Not saying it's permissible to learn how to do certain things and taking certain things from what? Non-Muslims that are beneficial and pure. But just being mindful that the whole entire Western culture is a system. It's a system. And you can't just enjoy one thing and necessarily get rid of the rest of the what? The system. It's all connected. Everybody got this? It's all what? It's all connected. Nakedness is connected. Waliyadhu billah. طيب. The question is, it says, كانت بنو إسرائيل يغتسلون عراتا ينظر بعضهم إلى بعض. The people of Israel, they used to wash up and they were naked in front of each other. Was that permissible for them to do? Or was it haram? Everybody understand the question? Was it something that was from their sharia? But Musa alayhi salam, because he was a prophet and a messenger, Kalim ar-Rahman, he was above that. It was unsuitable. It didn't suit his status. But the rest of the followers could wash up naked and see each other. Was that the case? Or was it something that they were doing that was wrong? And from their disobedience to Musa, and then he removed himself from it. Which of the two? You think it was wrong? Sean.
The answer is that Musa prohibited them, or
The hadith doesn't say that Musa talked to them. It just says that he what?
He was alone, but
He went away from Fadl
if it was something wrong, he wouldn't have just left them
and talked to the storm.
by himself.
He wouldn't have done what?
He wouldn't just leave them to be disobeying Allah.
Khayr, inshallah. Perhaps. Could be this, could be what? Could be that. Another concept from this hadith is the stupidity and the foolishness of these people. They're stupid and foolish. The only reason why he doesn't wash up with us is because he has a scrotal hernia. Something's wrong with his private part. He doesn't want us to see. They were thinking small instead of thinking on a bigger plane. That perhaps this man gets revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spoke to him directly. Just perhaps he's above showing men his body. And it's unbefitting of a prophet and a messenger to be naked in front of someone else. Perhaps. But they just automatically thought what? Negatively. And this is a concept that has plagued many of us. when it comes to our brothers in Islam, sisters in Islam, the very first thing we think is negative. The reason why Adam doesn't come to my class in Queens is because he's with the brothers that talk about me. I don't only see him. I only see him once here and then. It's the only reason why. There's no other reason why he doesn't come. Negative. What to make an excuse for, Mufti? Maybe he's working. Maybe he's watching online. Maybe his wife is sick. Anything. No. He doesn't come because what? Something wrong. I'm Hizbi. And everybody says, think negative. Make an excuse for your what? For your brother. And don't rush to think negative about your brother. You don't know what's going on in his life. You don't know what he's thinking about, what he's going through. You don't know. So make an excuse for your brother. Everybody understand this? And don't be ignorant and don't be hasty. And the other ayats in the Quran that show us the stupidity and the foolishness of Bani Isra'il in many cases with Musa alayhi salam. How they were cowardly, they were scared, how they were greedy, how they were hasty, and how they disobeyed the commands of Musa and of Harun. Everybody understand this? Everybody clear this? And this is what the Quran says. This shows their characteristics. They were oftentimes, not all the times, they were mean and base. And they were very narrow-minded. And they only looked at the tips of their nose. Everybody clear on this? And that is not how the Muslim is to be. That's not how the Muslim is to be. The Muslim is supposed to be above this, to look beyond. The Muslim is to scratch beneath the surface. The Muslim is to think deeply. Everybody understand this? And there are other times in which you leave it, what? As it is. Leave it upon the surface. Khairan inshallah. Khairan inshallah. The hadith also shows us the power of Allah. Whereas he allowed the rock to run away. He allowed the stone. How did the stone run away? With legs? Did it fly? Did it move? Al-Muhim, the stone what? فَفَرَّ الْحَجَرِ. The stone ran. And it also shows once again the fiqh of Musa alayhi salam. How he knew that Allah made the rock go. He didn't ask how, what's going on. He ran what? He ran after the stone. Everybody understand this? It wasn't, this man got revelation from Allah. It wasn't nothing what? Strange. What is a rock moving and running? That's what? That's nothing. That's what? That's nothing. The Red Sea split for him. Whether it was before this or after that. It's nothing for him. The stone ran. That wasn't his instinct. Subhanallah, his instinct was to cover his aura. Allahu Akbar. How is this rock moving? What about Bani Isra'il? That wasn't the first thing. The first thing he thought about was, Thawbi ya Hajar, Thawbi ya Hajar. Which goes to show you once again the status of this man and of the Muslim. Is that you have to think about this first. It's a fire. It's something outside. I'm uncovered. The first thing I'm going to do is grab something to wrap up in. A towel, something. I can't just run after you butt naked. Everybody understand this? Cover yourself, then you what? Everybody clear on this? Musa, لم يستغرب في نار الحجر وإنما طلب الثوب. Subhanallah. طيب, moving forward. Says here. طيب. Okay, inshallah, we'll stop here with regards to these two hadiths. There are many other fawaid that we want to get into. Perhaps with regards to the awrah and the refutation of some of the ignorant, stupid people who say that you can be a homosexual in Islam, and there's no proof saying that it's haram to be a homosexual. If you like men, if you like women, that's fine, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with that in Islam. And the people of Lut were destroyed because of they cheated, because they were highway robbers, or because they said they raped men. People said this. That's why Allah destroyed them, because they raped men. As far as if the men gave themselves willingly, if they had tenderness and affection for other men, that's fine. It's natural. Allah destroyed them because they were doing it against the men's will. So how did Musa alayhi salam walk away with his stove? He ran away from his stove. He did not want to look at the awrat, and he did not want them to look at what? His awrah. Everybody understand this? In the other hadith that we'll get into, in Sahihain and outside of Sahihain, with regards to the impermissibility, لا ينظر الرجل إلى عورة إيش؟ الرجل. ولا المرأة إلى عورة إيش؟ المرأة. Everybody understand this? لا يفضي الرجل, not to touch a man's awrah, not to look at a man's awrah. If the Prophet says, do not look at a man's awrah, how can you say it's okay to be a homosexual, to touch another man and kiss another man and lay with another man? Sodomy or not, regardless, that's because that's a different argument. How can you say that? The Prophet says, don't look what? At a man's awrah. And you're saying it's okay for you to. Where's the fiqh? Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in your speech. Don't lie upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As Allah says in the Quran, فيسحتكم إيش؟ بعذاب. So Allah will punish you. وقد خاب. Those who make lies about Allah will what? Lose. So don't lie about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the most dangerous thing in the time in which we live. As it states in Hadith Umar ibn Khattab, إن أخوف ما أخاف على أمتي كل منافق عليم اللسان. The most dangerous thing upon my nation, the thing that I fear most, is a munafiq who is eloquent. And someone that can speak, someone that can talk. A doctor, mufti, imam. He's interviewed by CNN, BBC, this Al Jazeera, and he's a gay imam. And not only is he gay, it's my own problem, my own issue, it's how I was born, perhaps, maybe. But now to say that it's permissible and there's nothing wrong with it and it's okay. La ilaha illallah. Wallahu a'lam.